Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Mattis losing a close ally in Tillerson but also a weak partner. The loss of one of his closest allies may give Defense Secretary Jim Mattis a strengthened relationship with President Donald Trump. Departing Secretary of State Rex Tillerson has been a frequent, like-minded confidant to the retired Marine general, who consulted with him several times a day as the two navigated the tumultuous Trump administration. But current and former government officials say the relationship did Mattis little good, given the clear disdain that Trump and his inner circle have for Tillerson. In Tillerson's place, Trump has chosen CIA Director Mike Pompeo, who's already developed a reputation as a powerful force. Director Pompeo gets in to see the president at least 3 times a week, sometimes more, said a senior administration official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to talk freely about the internal dynamics. It's a much deeper and more productive relationship. This opens opportunities for a more collaborative approach. Some officials say Mattis, who has gone out of his way to include the State Department in Pentagon decisions, clearly invested more than he got in return from Tillerson, who will probably be remembered as one of the most marginalized secretaries of state in the modern era. Mattis is losing a policy ally, said Michelle Flournoy, an Undersecretary of Defense during the Obama administration. But it's not clear that Tillerson carried a lot of weight in terms of pushing those policy ideas forward. Meanwhile, Mattis and Pompeo are not considered very close, but the two have collaborated on major policy decisions, including the recent review of the military and diplomatic strategy in Afghanistan. Unlike Tillerson, who came to view the National Security Council and that whole structure with contempt and was not a team player and preferred to work directly with Mattis, Pompeo has a different view of the interagency process, said the senior administration official. Mattis may even benefit from Pompeo's better standing with Trump relative to Tillerson. James Jeffrey, who worked closely with Mattis as the Obama administration's ambassador to Iraq, noted that as a member of the National Security Council's Principals Committee, Pompeo has been not only a provider of intelligence but a major player in policy development and policy execution. Pompeo has been doing that for 14 months and we've seen no real frictions between them, Jeffrey said of the CIA director and Mattis. Most importantly, to be a success, you need to have the president's support, and by all accounts he has that. Flournoy, who recently co-founded West Exec Advisors, agreed. My understanding is that Mattis and Pompeo have a very good relationship, she said. I haven't heard any stories about them not working well together. There may be areas of policy disagreement between the two men, though, she said. Those could include the Iran nuclear agreement, which Mattis has supported as Defense Secretary despite his tough views on Iran's role in the Middle East and which Pompeo vocally opposed as a congressman. And they could find friction on North Korea. Pompeo, if confirmed by the Senate, would take over the State Department at a sensitive moment in a strategy of pressure and potential negotiations, on which Mattis and Tillerson have collaborated closely. And it would happen just as Trump has stepped in with his offer to negotiate directly with Kim Jong-un. Preparations for those talks will probably dominate the opening weeks of Pompeo's State Department tenure. Jeffrey Lewis, director of the East Asian Non-Proliferation Program at the Middlebury Institute, said he fears that a much more hawkish Pompeo will reinforce Trump's worst instincts on the North Korea crisis. Mattis and Pompeo could also clash on the Iran deal. Watch the Iran deal as the barometer for all this, predicted Elon Goldenberg, a former State Department and Pentagon official who directs the Center for a New American Securities Middle East Security Program. Is Pompeo going to encourage the president to walk away from the nuclear deal, or is he going to wind up where Mattis and Tillerson have ended up, in the position of we don't like the agreement but we have to preserve it? Goldenberg added, if he argues for staying in the deal, he might have a lot more weight with Trump than Tillerson did. But he might be much more likely to recommend walking away from it. Russia must provide unambiguous answers about attack on ex-spy, White House says. President Donald Trump and Theresa May of Britain say that Russian officials must provide unambiguous answers about the attempted murder of a former spy in southern England, according to a White House readout of a call between the two leaders released on Tuesday. The White House said that Trump expressed his solidarity with May during a call on Tuesday and that he vowed to provide any assistance the United Kingdom requests for its investigation of the nerve agent attack on Sergei Skripal, a former Russian spy, and his daughter that took place in Salisbury last week. The two leaders, the White House added, agreed on the need for consequences for those who use these heinous weapons in flagrant violation of international norms, though they did not directly call for Russia to face immediate punishment. May on Monday called it highly likely that the Kremlin was behind the attempted murder of Skripal, a former Russian double agent. Russian officials have called for British officials to give them access to case materials so they can conduct their own analysis. The Russian Foreign Ministry said on Tuesday in a statement that they will not respond to London's ultimatum until the Russian side is provided with samples of a chemical substance referred to by the British investigation. Trump said earlier on Tuesday that he would take Britain's finding that Russia government officials were probably behind the nerve agent attack as fact. "It sounds to me like it would be Russia based on all the evidence they have," Trump told reporters outside the White House. "It sounds to me like they believe it was Russia, and I would certainly take that finding as fact." Late on Monday, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson called the attack on Skripal a really egregious act that appears to have clearly come from Russia, the sharpest remarks yet from a Trump administration official yet on the matter. Trump announced on Tuesday that CIA Director Mike Pompeo would replace Tillerson to head up the State Department. Skripal and his daughter remain in critical condition. Trump stuns Capitol Hill with Tillerson firing. President Donald Trump has disrupted Capitol Hill once again. Trump's sudden firing Tuesday morning of Secretary of State Rex Tillerson stunned lawmakers in both parties, even those who thought they had gotten used to the president's frenetic style. There was no heads-up from the White House that Tillerson's ouster was coming. Senior Republicans thought Trump and Tillerson had achieved a decent working relationship in recent months, although there was clearly no love for the former ExxonMobil CEO coming from the Oval Office. It's the latest reminder that Trump has his own plans, and the rest of the party is just going to have to deal with it, no matter how awkward the timing. GOP congressional leaders are focused on finishing work on the massive spending bill to keep the government running for the rest of the fiscal year and then hope to turn to the battle for control of Congress. But the looming confirmation process for Trump's new nominees ensures that senators will instead spend weeks publicly debating his policies on Russia, Iran, and North Korea, as well as reliving previous fights over terror detainees and allegations of torture by the CIA. "It adds to our workload, that's for sure," said Senate Majority Whip John Cornyn, Republican Texas. "I don't view it as a problem. It's just business that we have to take care of." Cornyn and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, RCI, are already pushing for a quick confirmation of CIA Director Mike Pompeo to succeed Tillerson. Trump has tapped Gina Haspel, the deputy CIA director, to succeed Pompeo. Haspel's role in a hugely controversial CIA interrogation program will be a key part of her confirmation hearing. If confirmed, she would be the first woman to hold that post. The spectacle of Tillerson being fired via Twitter, Tillerson himself said he didn't speak to Trump until 3 hours after the president tweeted about it, was too much for many Democrats, who view Trump's Washington as an unending series of scandals, missteps and controversies with no cohesive rhyme or rhythm. If there is a method to Trump's madness, Democrats don't see it. President Trump has demonstrated yet again that he is the commander in chaos, said Senator Robert Menendez of New Jersey, who, as the top Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, will play a key role in Pompeo's confirmation hearings. Menendez, recently acquitted on federal bribery charges and now running hard for re-election, was non-committal on whether he would oppose Pompeo's confirmation as the 70th Secretary of State. Menendez voted against Pompeo for CIA Director last year. Overall, 31 Democrats and 1 Republican, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, opposed Pompeo's ascension to head of the CIA. The question is that being the CIA Director is one skill set, while being Secretary of State is another, Menendez said. Liberal Democrats and progressive groups are already teeing off on Pompeo's selection, saying he has not done enough to highlight Russian interference in the 2016 election, among other shortcomings. Although Democrats will have a hard time derailing Pompeo's bid, given his lack of opposition from a GOP that knows him well from his years in the House, he's likely to face a far more partisan confirmation vote than Tillerson did. If he's being hired simply to more efficiently destroy the State Department, I think it would be hard to get Democratic votes, Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat Connecticut, told reporters. Yet some red state Democrats, especially those up for re-election this November, signaled they are open to backing Pompeo's nomination. Senator Joe Manchin, D.W. Virginia, noted that he voted for Pompeo for CIA Director and said he has had good interactions with him as an Intelligence Committee member. He's been straightforward, Manchin said. He comes in there, he's well received, and he's very candid. Hasbro is coming under intense criticism from Democrats over her role in overseeing the agency's interrogation program for terror detainees, including allegedly destroying videotapes of the interrogations of 2 suspects. Ms. Haspel's background makes her unsuitable to serve as CIA Director, Senator Ron Wyden, D.R., said in a statement. Her nomination must include total transparency about this background, which I called for more than a year ago when she was appointed Deputy Director. If Ms. Haspel seeks to serve at the highest levels of U.S. intelligence, the government can no longer cover up disturbing facts from her past. However, Senator Dianne Feinstein, Democrat California, who oversaw an Intelligence Committee report on the CIA's interrogation program, said she has not ruled out voting for Haspel. I think it's something that can't be forgotten. I'm certainly not going to forget it, and I won't let any CIA director forget it, Feinstein said. Right now, I'm waiting for the hearings. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Bob Corker, Republican Tennessee, who has had his own love-hate relationship with Trump, said he was given no warning on Tillerson's firing, despite the fact that he talked to the president on Friday. I found out about it the way I find out about a lot of things, from you all, Corker told reporters. I had felt to a degree there had been a reprieve of some kind, in the Trump-Tillerson relationship, since about the 1st of December, relative to how they were working together. This president is very entrepreneurial the way he goes about things, it's understandable there would be differences there. Tillerson had been scheduled to appear before the Foreign Relations Committee on Thursday to discuss the State Department's fiscal 2019 budget request. Corker, who was close to Tillerson, didn't say whether he'd support Pompeo, although it would be astonishing if Senate Republicans don't back his nomination. I don't know Pompeo very well. I know his background, our lanes have just not crossed, Corker added. He's gonna come over later this week, and we'll sit down and talk some. Tillerson may not have been loved by Trump, who could never seem to get used to his style, but Tillerson definitely had his supporters on Capitol Hill. Tillerson liked process, and that's something lawmakers understand at a deep level. I like Rex Tillerson. I think he did a very good job, said Senator Orrin Hatch, Republican Utah. But it was clear the chemistry wasn't there with the president. And I don't know that using the word fired is right. I think it's a mutual decision.